Well, initially, I'm an MC. First and foremost, I'm an MC.
Sweet.
And but the story goes that I actually produced first.
Why I make beats.
Yo, what up? It's LA KHULE, aka the Rifleman, and this is why I make beats.
For real, peace.
Real deal, Holyfield, Rifleman, rags to riches.
Hey yo, West with it. It's your boy Dangle Beats, and welcome to Why I Make Beats. And I'm sitting up here today with my man ELLAY, KHULE. You know what I'm saying? One of the underground legends, back from the good life and all that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we're gonna go on and jump right into it, my man. Why don't you tell everybody why you make beats?
Why I make beats? Well, initially, I'm an MC. First and foremost, I'm an MC.
Sweet.
And but the story goes that I actually produced first. You feel me? Like my brother is a DJ, and I grew up on 112th and Broadway, so everybody know what that was in the 80s and shit. It was real rough over there. So mom's she didn't really certain times, certain summers was hot summers. You couldn't come outside.
Right.
And I don't mean heat. I mean the other heat. It's hot summers. You feel me?
Right.
So mom's she was like she brought me and my brother a Casio, and that kept us in the house. You know what I mean? So me and my brother would make beats like it was 85. You know what I mean? Just banging out stuff on the Casio, but not serious. Because I'm like only 10 years old, but I still was messing around with the beat machine. And then as things progressed, I started rhyming around that same time, maybe a little bit after that, because I started freestyling, on some joking, playing a dozen sort of thing as a kid, with my brother or uncle. And then I saw their reaction, so I was like, okay, that's dope. I saw their reaction, so I just kept that back in my mind. But I, kept on as a kid, not really doing too much, just, making beats a little bit on the side. Then, as time progressed, then I actually started doing both, but I got more into rhyming, and I kind of like produced, kind of like in the background a little bit, but I put the MC to the forefront. But first it was the I made beats with my brother. Then I freestyled a little bit, but then my first real introduction, okay, I start pop locking. And then at the pop locking, I was a beatbox for the homie. And then pretty soon after that, I started just rhyming. You know what I mean? So I progressed almost through all the phases of the hip hop.
Right. So, dealing with living with where you was at, in that area, because I'm familiar with it. Did that at any point hinder some of your creativity? Did it boost it? How did you feel at that time when you was trying to be creative, or when you was trying to learn your way or figure it out?
I think that it at the time it actually helped, because like how authors of books, they like, oh, I needed to go to the woods, or movies, the authors and the writers of movies, they like, I needed to go to the woods to clear my thoughts and write the best scene I ever wrote, things like that. Okay, the same thing happens when you're in an urban setting. It gives you like a really raw sort of vibe. So, and it sounds crazy, but when you grow up in these places, that's kind of natural and normal already to all this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like we kind of get like numb to it. So it was kind of just like, yeah, that's just them crazy fools outside, whatever. I'm not really tripping because number one, I was in the house, so I didn't even have to trip off of it. And some of the shit, you know, kind of ironically was entertainment. Like I would look out my window when I couldn't go outside and the homies is out there fighting like, oh, there goes so and so fighting you know, it was, you know how people run the fights and it was like that. So I would use it kind of like fuel, you know, to create things, especially if I couldn't go outside and be amongst all the craziness. I would just use it as fuel. And I'm a second generation musician as well, so you know, it was kind of natural for me and my brother to be doing music.
So, at this point, what drives you? Like, what really pushes you to create the type of things you create now?
I would say what's really driving me right now at this exact moment is the shutdown, the COVID. Like, COVID has really helped me more than it's hindered me creatively. Not financially, because it's the opposite with that, but creatively, I'm doing some of the best stuff that I've done, and I'm touching on ranges that I haven't been, you know, really touching on in the past because I felt that wasn't my genre or my niche now. But now, since, you know, we have so much free time, I'm doing R&B tracks. I just told him that I made a beat for the Soul Brothers. It's called Soul Brothers Jazz, and it inspired me from how they used to dance back in the 80s and 90s. So I just made it with like jazz chops and breaks in it, and it just reminded me when I hear the beat, it reminded me of they style. They hitting the floor and just all freestyling and shit. I made a beat that you know, in my mind signifies how they style look. And I just told him about that. So I'm doing stuff that I would never do. I did a couple of R&B tracks for some singers, you know, and I never really was personally into that sound for me as a producer. But now I'm doing a little bit of everything. I got my sound library up to 100 gigs in the past 3 months. So, you know, it's deep as somebody who's been doing it, you know, constantly for a decade. You know what I mean? Even though I've been doing it, but I haven't really been taking it serious because the MCing took a forefront. And, you know, I put out like 20 underground projects. I traveled the world like 6-7 times as an MC. So I wasn't really focused in on the producing, even though some of my projects I would always produce beats on it, but not the whole project because, you know, I was open to producers because I'm always open to a different sound because I know other producers are going to drive me to, you know, create rhymes and songs in a different way.
When not committed to homie, blast like when not fuck soccer, I'd rather kick quality. Mommy, I think I see a dead body. It's time to dig another grave. Go get the dolly, the baby bitty. Gotta quit it when not committed to homie. Blast like when not fuck soccer, I'd rather kick quality.
Artists you've dealt with that you produced for, was there ever a time producing for an MC where you said to yourself, man, I crush you?
Yeah, because I'm still an active MC to this day. And I'm really recently, like I say, the past maybe 2 years, really pushing the producer. You know what I mean? So, and the MCs know, they know me, they know who I am, you know, from the ones. They know who I am and they know what I do. So, yeah, I mean, for the most part, you know, and then I come from a battle background as well. Like, we were like the first LA battlers. You know, I don't like to age myself, but hey, you know, I'm OG in this game since the 80s. But, you know, we was the first battle circuit, like going everywhere, battling everybody, doing everything. You know, in 97, the day my son was born, we are the crew that beat Eminem and his crew at the Rap Olympics in 1997. So MCs know what we do and who we are. You know, we some of the only ones that took out the so-called rap god. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But you know what I mean. So the MCs know, but also when I produce now, I try to take my MC out because you know when it comes to being a MC and a certain sort of MC, there's a lot of ego involved and things like that. But me personally, I don't think that ego is a bad thing. It's just if you let your ego lead you as a human being. But as an MC, I think you need an ego because it's all about bravado and you know it's a competition. But even competition wise, it don't necessarily have to be negative competition. I can use you as a friendly. You know, if I hear your beats and I'm like, oh shit, that shit was hard.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it as competition, but not like, oh man, this nigga, who you think he is, and you know, that beat is whack. No, it's going to drive me in a competitive way to be like, oh man, I gotta make one like that or better. So you know, it's cool to look at people as competition when you're not looking at it in a negative way. When it becomes negative, then that's where the ego and the competition becomes bad. You know, I actually like to keep the ego when I'm on my MC tip, to keep the ego in front because it drives me to want to be better all the time. But it don't drive me to become a hater. That's where you know people let their ego. It becomes egotistical when you know people they look at people and start hating on them. But me, I've never been the hater type. So you know I give everybody their props. If I like it, if I think it's dope, even if I don't think it's for me personally, I still give them their props because there's a lot of things that I think is dope, but I don't play.
I feel you. So when you're dealing with an artist, you know, we get a lot of artists that come in and say they know what they're doing, say they've been in studios and haven't been in 2/3 of the studios you and I have probably been in. So it's like you find yourself being a coach on top of being a producer. Have you
Yes.
been able to like push your MC ego to the side and let your producer ego step in and help coach this individual to become better?
Because I've been taught in this LA hip hop industry is that it's a difference between a producer and a beat maker.
Nah, here we go again.
So a beat maker, you know, I used to just be a beat maker, just slap them keys and here's the track, there you go. But you know, when you learn about people, you know, of course we're gonna always use Dre, and you can even use like a Pharrell, like how he did the song for Snoop Dogg. He had it all and had the hook too. Here you go, and then he even placed the cadence inside there without the words, just kind of freestyling like, you know, you should do it like this, and then Snoop did that, and then that's one of the biggest songs. So that is an actual producer, like you're gonna help create the song, you know, like Quincy Jones.
Right.
You know, you can look and hear what the person has, and then you can be able to try to finesse what you think they need, and maybe what they need to ease up off of, or maybe what they need to press on a little bit. So, you know, I have a young group, a girl group called BGM, and it has a lot of different acronyms, but I like to go with the Black Goddess movement. But you know, most of them use Black Girl Magic, which is cool. I like it all. But most of them are my sister's foster kids.
Okay.
And once the George Floyd, is that the guy's name that the police put the knee on his neck? Okay, once that happened, a couple of them came and was like, we have a Black Lives Matter song. And then they did it for me, and I was like, oh, that's dope for like, you know, 12 and 13-year-olds. That's really good. So I made them a track, and one of them was like, you should go like this. And I was like, okay. You know, I was listening to what they said because they had a vision inside their head. So, you know, I just helped them out. Okay, do this like this. You guys should do this, make the chant right here. You know, I just finessed the song, but they had like what they had in their heads, and it was really good. I produced the track for them, shot them a video, took them out to the protest. They videos in the middle of the protest.
Dope.
You know what I mean?
Dope.
So, because I'm like, I have the wherewithal to know what to do with them as far as to help them with their talent and their craft. You know what I mean? So, you know, because I also shoot videos too. I'm one of the ones that I always tell my homie AC Alone, like, I can make a song from the beginning to the very end. And what I mean from the beginning is write it, the idea, the hook, and then all the way create the video and put it out where I need to put it out from the beginning to the end. Now everybody can't say they can do that, you know, and I'm not saying everybody should do that. I'm saying that me being in the industry and hip hop for so long, I've just learned to do things. And to answer the real question about why I make beats and everything else, is because I don't like waiting on niggas. That's on my mama. If you really want to cut to the chase of everything, I don't like being on other people's time because you have to wait for everything. I got my own studio. I got a degree. It has a sound engineering degree. You know what I mean? Like, I do all the stuff because I don't like waiting on other people. You know how it is.
Right.
Legend was just telling me when I walked up. He said, man, you one of the ones, man. You know, I don't know how you do it. You know, you just got it. I told him it's time management. You have to be able to manage your time properly. Like, I'm not going to be one of those dudes who make excuses about why I can't do this, why I'm not doing this. I'm just going to manage my time properly and get things in where I need to fit them in at. Right. And that's it.
Right. That's dope. That's dope. So, who are some of the MCs that you worked with from, you know, back in the day through your time?
Man, I've worked with some of all the greats, at least the ones in LA, you know, from Mike and I, AC Alone, Ras Cash, Medusa, Voodoo, Two Mix, my boy Mr. CR. Right now I'm working with a cat who's blowing up. He's initially from Vancouver, but he moved to Compton. His name's Jay Worthy. And I'm working with him doing a 3-song EP, and he like blowing up. His numbers is blowing up right now. Man, my son's out there. He out there killing it. Almighty Suspect. You know, he in the scene killing one of the top 5 young LA rappers right now. Man, I work with a lot of people out here. You know what I mean? And on the MC tip, you know, and on the production tip, my boy Mean Green, he passed away maybe about 6 months ago. I produced to my boy Green, that's my guy. I produced a track, you know, as in memory to him. It was a posse cut, and it ended up having like 15 MCs on it. You know, so I made the beat, laid the hook, gathered all the people that I could, you know, from Red Rum, from Banging on Wax. It's a lot of people on the track. Shot the video. Me and Red Rum shot the video, you know, because he shoot videos as well. So, you know, I got 15 MCs on it. Voodoo from Mean Green's old group, him, Ras Cass, Michael Myers, and Bird, they had a group called the Western Hemisphere. So I got Voodoo. He ain't really been on the track in 10, 12 years. I got him out of retirement, you know, to rap on the track with his boy, you know, with Mean Green, you know what I mean? Because that's all our friend, and he passed away. So, you know, it's been a lot of people passing away. G-Bomb, that's the homie, he passed away. You know, he was doing the Ultra Wave back in the day.
You know, Westlaw Scandalous on Cuddy Mac TV. So with that money I picked up on the West Side, my nigga?
Man, we got jacked, homie.
You got jacked, man. You looking kind of relaxed with somebody got jacked, man. Who the fuck jacked you, man?
Shit, little cute bitch. Little thotty on the West.
That's the money we need to pay off the fucking ops with, my nigga.
Yeah, I'm on it. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna find out who did it. You know it don't take long to find out who's spending money and where. I got this. And I also did I just saw something I did for the movie. You know, this one right here, West Los Scandals, the intro. You know, we did a whole song with the intro and everything.
That's right. That's the thing right there. So, what do we have coming up in the future for you?
Well, Monday, President's Day. I don't know when it's coming out before or after, but I'm releasing a track called Dead Presidents, 46 Dead Ops. That could probably get me into some trouble. I don't know, but you know, I think as an artist, we should be able to write what we write, just like how people make movies and write books. Like, why they don't put those people under the scope when, you know, they make a movie like Manchurian Candidate or something, killing the president. Right. So if I say that in a track, then they look at me like I actually did it or wanted to do it. No, I'm just a writer and an author. But, you know, I'm dropping that on Monday no matter what. So whatever happens, happens. Because, you know, 2020 taught me that, you know, you can't waste no more time. We don't have time. People are dropping left and right out here. So anything that you think you need to say it. Anything that you think you want to do it. You don't have to do it, because if you sit around and try to wait, you know, I'm sure all our dead friends and relatives had plans for the next year that they never saw, you know. And then I have another project with my boys, Mr. CR, God of Reef. It's called Mr. Rifle God. There's some dope tracks on there, you know, a lot of different features going on. And I'm just going to slap out some beats every day like I do. I try to do like when I was at my highest peak of MCing. I tried to write a 16 a day for years and years and years. These days, I try to make a beat a day.
That thump, it ain't no feeling, you know. You gotta have that knock, you know. We the type of people that drive around with big humps in our trunks, so you gotta feel it coming up the block, you know. With no feeling, it's just not there. Gotta have that heartbeat.
To keep the ego in front, because it drives me to want to be better all the time, but it don't drive me to become a hater.
All right, so now that we know that you've been around, you're a legend from the underground, and we know you got something new coming out now. So now it's about that time for us to slide over into the lab and take a sneak peek at some of this funky stuff that you be working on. So thanks for stepping in. When you see us again, we'll be in that lab on Why I Make Beats.
Peace.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Lab time. Blah, blah, blah. That's the last thing was supposed to be on this screen right here. We just throw that on.
Fruity Loops.
Yeah. That's the funny thing is I started on that shit when I got out the pen. My brother tells me when I was locked up, bro, you ain't gotta worry about no beats when you get out. I got you. I make beats now. I said, all right, bet. Got out the pen. And instead of the nigga making me some beats, the nigga bring me a program. And say, I did one better. You can make your own beats. All you gotta do is this. And I started out using this as my controller. Making my beats over here. Patterns was way different. But I took my baby steps, worked my way on up, and I started getting keyboards and doing my little pieces. And then I started widening my sound bank, my sound bank. Right. And then I started opening my mind to a lot of different sounds. Like I was trying to keep a lot of dark sounds going. I had to start getting light with them and get all over the place.
Yeah,
and
that's where I've been at, you know, recently in the past 16 months. I've been opening it up. You know, I usually would only want to do a track that I'm gonna rap to. I gotta fuck all that.
Right.
Sugar Khan.
Right.
Fuck you on.
Like me, I won't just. I'm weird. I can't sit down here like a lot of producers can sit down and say, "I'm gonna make a track like this," and actually go nail that. If I sit down and say, "Okay, I'm gonna make an R&B track," it turns into a trap track.
Mm-hmm.
But then sometimes when I go to make a trap track, it turns into a